The National Dialogue is here and it's making moves. Good day, my name is Hussein Molete and I'm with Show Me Your Number Online Radio. The National Dialogue is a historic process led by the civil society and is supported across sectors to bring South Africans together, heal wounds, and chart a common path forward. Join us as we unpack voices, young and old, across every race, culture, and class. Hi sir, how are you?
Very well.
I'm good, thank you. My name is Hussein Molete. I'm from Show Me Your Number Online Radio. I just wanted to ask, we're here at the National Dialogue Kickoff today.
Yes.
What were your hopes? What were you hoping to hear or get out of this kickoff today?
Well, look, this national convention is really the kickoff to a much broader national dialogue. So today it was really bringing together the eminent persons group who's been steering this, a range of representatives from various sectors, business, labor, civil society, government. Civil society will also be nominating members to serve on a steering committee, and hopefully once this weekend is done, we would have a steering committee. We would have talked about the questions that need to go into the dialogue, and then the real work kicks off.
Do you think that the president heard what the people had to say today? And do you think, according to your knowledge, do you think that this is a great platform for everyone to just voice up their feelings and let them be heard?
I think it's an excellent forum. Yes, I think the president is very mindful of what people think and what they've said. But the point is that it's not just about the president, and the president said so himself. It's about people and a people-driven, people-centered dialogue. The intention is to have tens of thousands of citizen-initiated dialogues. Intention is to have, I think, over 30,000 dialogues in different wards in municipalities across the country. That's where the real dialogue is going to take place.
And I just wanted to know, today we are at the National Dialogue Kickoff, and I just wanted to know, what were your hopes out of this kickoff today?
Sorry, well, yeah, exactly that people's voices would be heard.
Just that.
Yeah, that everyone would be given the chance to speak. Yes, and that the people who are actually supposed to listen are meant to listen.
Okay, do you think they listened enough inside?
Well, the room was emptying up, so I don't know.
All right, thank you so much. What were your hopes out of this national kickoff?
Our hopes is to give the minister our grievances,
yes,
personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And which organization are you from?
We are from Bakoni Bapetla Communal Property Association. We've been robbed our land. There's a huge mine. They have signed a fraudulent lease,
yes, with
the executive committee. Yeah. So that's why we are here. We are here to give him the Minister of Rural Development and Land Reform, Mr. It's who? It's Mr. Who? Minister Nyoncho.
Okay. All right, we hope that it goes well. Okay.
I think my hope will be that after we sponsoring our ideas in terms of how to shape our country, you know that our country is in the bad situation whereby we're supposed to shape this country in order to change this environment to be conducive, not inconducive. Because at this moment it is inconducive. That's why now, this country is a beautiful country. So that's why now we decided that by coming together as South Africans and come up with talking with one voice in terms of fixing our country, I think that will be excellent, and it will assist even the generation that will come. And after we fix our country.
My name is Mahdia Patel. I'm a 29-year-old lawyer from Pretoria. And I've had the opportunity, I was invited to attend the National Dialogue, and I want to contribute and have my say in building my nation's future. I'm a mother, and I want to let my nation be a great nation for my kids to grow up in.
And personally, what were you hoping to get out of this kickoff?
So personally, I was hoping that we can have a roadmap in how we can take this home to our communities. Like the president has said, that at the end of the day, this doesn't end here. It needs to go back to our wards, go back to our communities, our mosques, synagogues, churches, that kind of a thing. And I think he's done a great job in outlining what we can expect, ideally. But whether that will actually come to fruition is still to be seen.
My name is Shireen Ibrahim. I'm from the Al Jamaat team. I'm on the advisory side. So I'm here to basically be part of the national dialogue that's going to change the face of the country going forward. And I'm really looking forward to how we can engage and make this thing really constructive.
Okay, and from a perspective of the organization that you're under, what were your hopes from this kickoff?
I think, Al Jamaat is very vested and involved in the social development side as well as in the district development model. So all of those things overlap. So you have on the district development model, you have a lot of wards and you have a lot of things that's under service delivery. The normal issues that one would face. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you will have your basic needs, your social needs, your security needs. These are the basic things that human beings want and our South Africans want. And on the social development side is the unemployment, poverty, inequality, social cohesion, a promise for a better future. So we're all looking forward to it.
Do you think it's a better future starting from now?
It's the first time we're having a citizen-led process together with the people, and the people being the voice. It's a bottom-up approach, but it's also very integrated in a matrix structure. So for the first time, we're having something that's very centric, that's around people, even though we have overlapping structures in there. So I'm really looking forward to that.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
So I am from the Unemployed People's Movement. We are a social movement based in Grahamstown. We are basically a grassroots movement that works with working class people. We are working class people. We defend the rights of everyone. We fight for land, we fight for water, and we fight for housing. We are in this dialogue to work with it, against it, and beyond it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. You touched on housing. How's that incorporated into? How do you think it's incorporated into the civil society?
It's incorporated because, Tina, we fight for everything that affects working class people. So when they don't have housing, we want to be the voice. We want to amplify actually their voices. When they say we don't have houses, we want to take it to the municipalities on a local level. But this is what is happening, and this is what the people are demanding. For example, lately in Makhanda, there's been a land occupation that's been taking place. People have been taking land by force. So the Unemployed People's Movement has been also involved in that struggle, helping the citizens to understand their housing rights and their land rights, and also again amplifying their voice and their need for housing.
Okay. With the high rate of unemployment in South Africa, right? How do you think your organization is helping? I know it's making an impact, but do you think it's reaching an audience outer than Grahamstown?
Honestly, when it comes to unemployment, I don't think it's really in our hands. I don't really think we can help. What we can do is to conscientize people and tell them that, and motivate them and tell them that unemployment is not an individual issue. It's not your fault that you are unemployed. It's a systematic issue. So it's an issue that is caused by a corrupt government, neoliberalism, and austerity. So if you fight against those policies and those economic policies that have governed us, then we can maybe get job opportunities and change the world.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, my name is Itumeleng Motlabane. I'm the General Secretary for Equal Education. As Equal Education, we are here today recognizing the imperfections of the process, but we would never have let the country have any conversation without the voice of learners and those that are in affected communities being part.
Yes. So we do have, and it's a visible thing, right? So we do have so many schools that are not operating missing today because of certain reasons? And how do you think you guys are reaching those people?
As Equal Education, we organize learners, parents, SGB members, teachers, and everyone that's part of the schooling community. And so we try and solve the issues by making sure that people are conscious of how the education system works and that they're able then to be active participants in those. We pride ourselves with the presence in schools week in, week out. As Equal Education, we're talking to learners, we're talking to school principals, so we are aware of the issues, and then we use those issues to create materials that we put in our submissions that we give to government to demand transformation in our education system.
Okay. A few months ago, we had a case. Let's just say the Gwigwe case, right? Do you think you guys put in enough effort in case of such, put in an effort in such cases? Right?
So, as Equal Education, we don't work precisely with criminal law.
Yes.
But if you're telling me that there's a learner that's left out of school because of their race, because of admission issues, then that's where we come in with education law. And we've done enough because, and even in cases like that happen in schools, but rather unrelated to education, Equal Education is still at the forefront and voicing out the view and the perspective of learners. And that's what we've continued to do for the past 17 years. But more than that, we've had policies legislated because of this work. If an example would be during COVID, where the National School Nutrition Program resumed through court, and it was the voice of our members that informed that nutrition forms part of the enablers for education.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Please keep on doing a great job, and we see you.
Thank you so much. I think more than seeing us, it's important that we recognize that there are those Kosiamu who are between the ages of 13 and 18 that are usually excluded from the democratic processes like these. And even today, we would have loved to bring learners, but this is happening during school time. So as we're imagining the unfolding of the national dialogue, we need to then also imagine, how do we include learners? How do we include the voices of adolescents? How do we include the voices of those that will not come to a community hall, but rather will live on TikTok, because that's where they've created their own virtual communities. We need to reimagine what it means to be a community, what it means to even dialogue. Our learners sometimes prefer art, sometimes prefer different modalities of talking. And so I am hoping that this national dialogue will not just become a conversation of adults and the elites, but rather be much more inclusive in the ways that we as the African people converse and we talk and we voice out our
opinions. All right, thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good, I'm very well.
I'm good, thank you. Please tell us, besides the national dialogue reaching out to more people and just trying to fit themselves into different races, what were your hopes personally? What were your hopes out of this national dialogue?
Well, I think that the National Convention is the kickoff for the national dialogue.
Yes.
We're going to try and reach a minimum of 10 million South Africans to do three things. The one is to look at what are the radical changes that we need to address unemployment or the land questions or social cohesion, etc. The second one is what are the rapid response issues that we want to do. I mean, is it service delivery? Is it bullying at school? Is it, GBV, etc., etc. And then the third one is how do we rebuild our families, our communities, how do we rebuild our nation? Because it starts with the families and then it's building blocks. So my expectation of this kick-off is really where all South Africans, whether you are in a book club or you're in a stokvel or you're in a cooperative or in a church or in an umanyano or in a mosque, to be able to say that I want to have a dialogue in my space to be able to talk about how do we resolve as citizens, as government, as churches, as religious communities, as everybody, work towards resolving the problems of our country.
And with the high number of kids and women, GBV in general, do you think then the government is doing enough to make sure that this whole thing is just coming to an end, addressed in a way?
Yeah, I think that there's two aspects to the problem of GBV and violence against children. The first one is that government needs to do its work. It needs to be able to provide social workers. It must be able to make sure that when a woman reports a rape case, or domestic violence case, she's not belittled. She is assisted. But at the same time, and the courts must be able to give people tough, give them tough sentences.
Yes.
But as communities, the police can't come in on our homes and say to the father, don't rape your kid.
Yes.
That's something
Yes.
that we as communities need to talk about.
Yes.
So the dialogue is really saying that government has a role to play and it must step up to what we expect. But at the same time, what do we need to do as communities, as families, as different sectors? And this is what a national dialogue is. I think that one of the problems of the last 30 years is that we expect government to solve all the problems, and it can't. We need society-wide responses, including holding government accountable. It needs to be make sure that every single sector get involved, and this is what the dialogue is about. During the struggle against apartheid, we were all involved as different sectors, in communities, everywhere. And that's the kind of same thing that we need to have to rebuild our country.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I should thank everyone who is here today for accepting this invitation. I am truly humbled and very touched that all of you have heeded this invitation and have come through to this meeting so that we can have a dialogue. You have traveled from many parts of our country, in fact from all parts of our country, to be here. This is a true honor to me as your president. It is a true honor to all of us, to each one of us. We should feel honored. Today marks the first sitting of the National Convention of the National Dialogue, a space where we confront our realities openly, respectfully and constructively. This is not a partisan platform. This is a national platform. Here, no voice is too small. No perspective is too inconvenient to be heard. We are gathered to listen to each other, to understand one another, and to chart a common path forward for our country. We are meeting at a time of profound challenges that confront our country and our people. Economic hardships that our people are living under, unemployment that continues to rise, inequality that besets our people, growing poverty, and a crisis of confidence in our institutions. We also meet at a time when the world is rapidly changing, and our own ability to adapt and renew ourselves will define the next generation. But history teaches us that nations are not defined solely by their difficulties. Nations are defined by how they respond to the challenges that confront them. Our own struggle for freedom from the nightmare of apartheid proved that unity in diversity is not an abstract slogan. History teaches us that unity is a powerful force for change, for transformation. Gathered in this hall today are people from all across our land. People from all walks of life, people of all races, of all classes, all languages and cultures. Gathered here at this national convention are farmers, are informal traders, civic activists, policymakers, traditional leaders, waste pickers, industrial workers, the unemployed men and women of our country, the unemployed young people, unemployed graduates, eminent religious leaders, business people, and public servants like me. There are also young people and older people like me, men and women, people from informal settlements and rural villages. There are people with disabilities amongst us. There are survivors of various forms of violence. There are artists, there are sports people and cultural activists. In this national convention is gathered the rich diversity of the people of this country. Yet, although we are different in many ways, although we represent different experiences and memories and hold different views, there is one thing that we have in common. And that one thing that we have in common is that we are South Africans. We are, each one of us, sons and daughters of the same soil, the South African soil. Whether people like it or not, we are sons and daughters of the soil, of Mzansi. This is where we come from. So we share a common past, but we also share a common destiny. We share the same inheritance of division, of inequality, of pain, and of injustice. We share the same pride at ending the crime of apartheid and establishing a constitutional democracy. We also share a common future. That future binds us together. And that is why we have chosen to gather here today. Because each one of us, regardless of our differences, is committed to working together to build this future that we all dream of. We have chosen to be here, voluntarily chosen that we will gather here as South Africans. We've chosen to be here because we believe in the power of dialogue and united action. And dialogue, by the way, is not a new phenomenon amongst us as South Africans. We have always dialogued to solve the most intractable problems that have confronted our country. We gathered together, and let me add that even as dialogues have happened in our country, there have been moments where others chose not to participate. There have been moments when others said, no, what is this all about? We are not going to be part of it. Now I will tell you a story which I hope will not embarrass one of those who told me the other time, and is the leader of the Pan-Africanist Congress. He's here. He serves in my cabinet. And as we were preparing for the dialogue, he said to me, President, we as the Pan-Africanist Congress, we have always historically refused to participate in various dialogues. We were not there in Kliptown. They call it Kliptown, when the Freedom Charter was drafted. We were not there when there was a dialogue to end violence in our country. We were not there when the Constitution was drafted, when there was that broad dialogue. And time round, we are going to participate. So there are those who are standing outside, who are saying we are not going to participate. And we grant them that freedom. But one day, they will be like the PAC. They will realize that they shouldn't be part of the dialogue. Because dialogue is about bringing people together. Getting all of us to speak together. Not to speak at each other. And not to talk away from each other. It should involve talking together. We believe that if we share our concerns and our fears, we can conquer them. If we understand the challenges we face, we can overcome them. If we know what hurts us, we can heal. If we know what divides us, we can unite. We gather here today in all our diversity to launch a national dialogue. We are embarking on a process that will launch 1 million conversations amongst our people. Now, this is a great honor to be able to instigate conversations amongst our people. All of us seated here must see ourselves as being truly honored that today we get to sit here and we are launching a process that will involve conversations of millions of people, 10 million people. But in the end, I see this conversation going way beyond the 10 million people who might participate. It will encompass many more millions of people in our country. This is truly a historic moment. Across the length and the breadth of South Africa, people will and must meet to talk of what worries them, what gives them hope, and how they think their lives and our country can be better. We all agree that our country is not where it ought to be. We all agree that there are many things that are broken in our country. Getting together, talking to each other, we should be able to find solutions on how we can put many of the things that are broken in our country together. This initiative is about what all South Africans must do together to make our lives and our country better. It is also about getting leaders to be able to realize what worries South Africans and how leaders themselves can be engaged in understanding the lives of South Africans and be accountable. And to look, yes, as my sisters were saying here, to look behind and see whether there are still people who are following them. Through this process, we want our people to meet in homes and community halls. We want them to meet in churches, in synagogues, in mosques and temples. Our people must meet in schools and lecture halls, in boardrooms and on the shop floor, on the pathways of our villages and the streets of our townships and our cities. We will meet online. We will be tech-savvy, as many South Africans are already tech-savvy, I found out during COVID. Our South Africans know technology. They are way ahead. They know technology. When we started distributing the 350, I tell you, it was through technology that they were able to immediately snap it. Even though they say, hi, Uramatposa, Otanda, Omahalea. They did it through technology. So we will meet online. We will call into radio stations. We will debate on television. Yes, there will be many television shows. We will share our views and make our suggestions without hesitation. And we will be direct and honest. And we will need to have difficult conversations about many issues, including why do South African women have to live in fear of the men of our country? This is Women's Month, and I'm glad that these conversations should start this month. That we as the men of South Africa must begin to internalize this question. Why do the women of South Africa fear us as men in the streets, in the classrooms, and even in our homes? We need to ask ourselves those questions. We also need to ask ourselves, why do so many people live in abject poverty and so few live lives of opulence? Why, after decades of democracy, are the prospects of a white child so much better than those of a black child? We also need to ask ourselves, why do women get paid less than men for the same work? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Now, we also must go deeper and ask ourselves why, when we have a Bill of Rights in our Constitution, are the LGBTQI+ people still discriminated against? Why are they still stigmatized and harassed? Why do clinics run out of medicine? Are questions that we must ask ourselves. And why do taps run dry? These are some of the questions that we must be willing to ask and which we must be prepared to find answers for. But more than that, my fellow South Africans, these are the challenges that we must be ready to do something about. As individuals, as organizations, as communities, as parents, as elected representatives, and as public officials. The National Dialogue is a call to debate and to discuss, but it is also much more than that. More importantly, the National Dialogue is a call to action. It is a call to all South Africans to seize this moment for change and progress. And this we cannot do when we are sitting on the sidelines. This we cannot do when we do not want to be part of this conversation. And this we cannot do when we sit on the sidelines and just criticize. We need to be inside the tent rather than being outside of the tent. And we also need to have one tent. We do not need another tent where other conversations will take place. This is the real tent where conversation must take place. Now, it is a call to build a society in which there is a place for everyone, where the country's wealth is shared by all. A South Africa that truly belongs to all the people who live in it. We have come together in this national convention not to have the dialogue, but to start the dialogue. Gathered here, all of us together, we are well over 1,200 or 300 across many organizations and sectors. Our task is to prepare for the thousands of public dialogues that will happen in communities across the country over the next 6 to 8 months. We are here to consider some of the themes that may arise in those discussions, understanding that it is ultimately the people of this country that will determine the issues that should be discussed. And this is what we call citizen-centered dialogues and discussions. We are here to reflect on how we should approach these public dialogues, what methods we should use to ensure that everyone has a say and that the discussions take place in an environment that promotes understanding and that encourages healing. Through this convention, we seek to equip delegates to be champions and enablers of these public dialogues. We seek to ensure that we give the space to South Africans to define the outcome of the national dialogue process, so that those thousands of conversations can be drawn into a clear vision for the country and an agreed program of action into the future. May our work be grounded in truth and be blessed with the spirit of Ubuntu. The spirit of Ubuntu that must guide us for ourselves and for generations to come. Thank you very much for coming.